Welcome back to my channel, and today I want to speak about this image, how I created it. Just follow this video to the end and you will be able to create the exact same image. Before I start, I want you to direct to my Udemy course. I have over 5,000 students enrolled. So at the moment I have 62% off on my course. So just go and check it out. Let's start with uh, this image. So I want to show you how I started and how I achieved it. So I started off with this image, the one I had. Then I created another image. So how I created this image, let me hold Alt and press on this. So you can see, okay, I have created this kind of image, and then I change the blending mode to screen. So let me show you how I created this one. So let's go here and then press Ctrl J to make a copy of this image, then press Ctrl Alt Shift and B together to change it to black and white, then press Ctrl J to make a copy of this image, this black and white image, and then change its blending mode to difference, and then press Ctrl and I together to invert it, and then merge these two layers. And if you go in here and move it to around 60 maybe, and move this one to around 180, 185 or 183, so you have this image here. And let me change it to screen so you can see, okay, we have something similar to this. So the same thing I have done there. So just changing the highlights, and as you can see is affecting mostly the highlights. Then I added this image, so let me show you how this image was. So let me just turn off this layer mask. So this image was like this. Then I used color range to select this blue color and remove it completely with the mask, and I also tried to restrict it to the face. So you can see here it is restricted only to the face, not on the hair. Then I added another layer and the same mask I used, and this time around what I did, double click here, and I affected only the shadows. If you move it from here towards the left, you are affecting the shadows. So when you put them apart, the let me show you. If I put them together, you can see here it's very harsh edges. But what I did, I put them apart like this, so that that hard transition between these two things can be removed. So I just affected the shadows here. Then I added another one where I just affected the highlights. You can see I moved from left to right just to affect the highlights. Then I just brighten these areas more, and then I added some saturation. Sorry, I added some saturation here. I just added some contrast here. Then I added a black and white layer and changed its blending mode to screen, and then I added some more contrast here. You can see this is an S curve and an extreme S curve, so I'm adding more contrast here. Then I added another layer where I just did a small amount of, you can say, dodging and burning, and I changed its blending mode to soft light and its opacity to 38%. So you can see it's just a slight amount of dodging and burning. Then this layer I added after this layer, once I merged all the visible layers by pressing Ctrl J Alt Ctrl Alt Shift and E together. Then I created this layer, sorry, and then I added another layer underneath it to make the whole canvas white. So here it is. Then I added another layer because some of the areas inside her hair I want to show almost the full hair, so I added another layer, and this time the clipping mask is different than what we have underneath it. So the clipping mask underneath is something like this. I added her nose here, and I worked on her chin because they were not visible in this clipping mask. Then I added this one to fill the hair to bring the hair back, so you can see mostly working on the hair. Then I added another one. You can see some of the hairs were not visible, or let me just turn it off and on again. So I added the hair again. Then this one I'm just adding some dodging and burning. So I tried to add some contrast here. So which wherever I have the shadows, I painted with black, and where I have highlights, I did not touch highlights a lot, but mostly shadows. So I painted black on shadows and painted white on highlights, and then I changed its blending mode to soft light. It was like dodging and burning. Then I used selective color to work on individual colors on yellows and blacks. Let me show you. So here it is. So I worked on blacks. So these are my pointers. You can also use the same. So I was mostly trying to add some, um, you can say, some bluish tint to it, or maybe magenta tint to it. Then on yellow, I added some more yellow into it. So you can see it here. And this is it from here. Then this one, I just dabbed here a little bit, and you can see the layer. So I used the eraser as well, then I used the brush tools as well to just make it look more natural or painterly. Then I did some more work here, and I painted with white because the background is white. So I use different kind of brushes to give them this kind of strokes. So you can see here, so I don't want this line to appear like this, straight like this, so I added some white here. So this one is straight, but later I will add some heading onto it, and then it is gone. So this is the whole process.